session today. I understood Shobha is newly joined. Anyone else today has newly joined for the session? Other than Shobha? Yes, no? My second session, okay. Who's that? Who said my second session? Irene, okay. Irene. All right. Okay, so Shad or Nikki, if you can put the WhatsApp link for the Testoper projects, so that Shobha can join. And Shobha, in the WhatsApp, you can provide your email address, and we will add you into the Microsoft Teams, where we collaborate more or less, right? So you can actually see it's like a Slack channel if you have used Slack channel or Discord. So we use Microsoft Team for the collaboration before and after the session. And the Testoper project, whatever the session right now we are in, this is the Microsoft Teams, and these are all the different channels within the Testoper project programs.
Okay.
Channel is one team who is working on the project. Right now, I think we have 3 active channels, Artificial Squad, then we have Skill Link and the Future. These are the 3 channels that are active right now. The other 2 we did as a pilot before, but these 3 are active right now. When I say active, it basically means we have 3 teams and who have come together and who are learning together how to become an innovator and become an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur and develop a product and start their own company or give that product for the benefit of the community. It is totally up to them to decide. From the Testoper point of view, our goal is to really help people to understand how to go from A to B, right? Where you are today to how you can become an innovator and entrepreneur, right? So that's what we do. Every Friday, 6 to 7, we come together and we learn together. And team goes back and start working on the projects that they are working on, and they take it forward. That's the way that we do this program.
Okay.
So let's get started. From getting an update from the team leads. So let's start with Fian. Fian, how is it going with your team? Do you need any help or any ask from us?
So far last week we had a very interesting session where we talked about our product and what we're trying to build. So we were talking about the skill link, but eventually we kind of digressed a little bit and thought about starting a whole new product from scratch. So
Awesome.
so what we did was we decided to put skill link on pause for a little bit and have everybody go and through the week think about something, if you can come up with an idea, because we were all talking about maybe having like a product, like for example like maybe Uber, Airbnb and stuff. So we're using this week. We're going to have a discussion tomorrow and talk about the idea that each and every one of us came up with. But we used this week to think about like a problem that we are facing, that maybe building a product around the problem will make our lives better and make people's lives better. So that's what we put like a little bit of pause on Skill Link now, and maybe tomorrow, once we discuss about it and hear what the other team members come up with. So that's what we're doing right now.
I'm very, very happy to hear that, honestly, right? So you have crossed from a stage of some projects, some ideas that I gave for you guys to do, to you thinking your own idea to do. This is a substantial improvement of Ian, and I'm very happy, and you are on the right track, right? This is the first step of you becoming an innovator. Thanks for that. Thanks for your leadership, and thanks to all your team members starting to think in that way.
I also have to acknowledge our mentor, Farhan. He was very instrumental in having us, think outside the box and like coming up with and having us go and think about a problem that we can solve. So I have to acknowledge him. in that also.
Thank you. Thank you. You know what? I just have to say this. So there is a hackathon going on in Brampton, which is organized by Brampton Library. It's called as Brain Hacks. Okay. And the kids, I believe, 13 years and older are attending. And you should actually go and see them, right? The innovations that they do and the products that they build in 2 days and the MVP that they show and the pitch that they do in front of everyone. I'm going to be one of the judge, right? I'll be judging them on Sunday. You would, it's like, I just wish I was like them, right? When I was a kid, honestly. So, but it's never too late, okay? And even for me, I always think it's never too late, and I continue to learn as much as that I can. So, we just have to start our journey somewhere, and you're all here together, and I'm happy that we are starting this journey together. We'll get there one step at a time. Okay. I just really wanted to say that. And if you get a chance, I'm not sure you're allowed to go in, but you can go and search Brainy Hacks and register and go and see at least on Sunday afternoon when the kids pitch their ideas and show their demos. You should actually go and see. It will be an inspiration for you all to, do something about it, right? From each one of our point of view. So wonderful, Fian, great update, great learning. And I'm happy the way that your team is progressing. And Farhan, thank you very much for your, yeah. So let's move forward to hearing update from Greg. Greg, please, floor to you.
Okay. Hi. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Not much update. So as what we discussed in our last meeting, in our last project meeting, so our takeaway was to go talk about a business opportunity statement. Like we said, we have different customers that we could pitch our ideas to, but we just want to go with one. So we wanted to go back and get our business opportunity statement from all the list of the customers, then come back and brainstorm on those ideas and see how we can choose one out of those ideas and pursue that one. Then as we go forward in the future, we can begin to expand. But we want to start with one first. So on the business opportunity statement, we let us understand what we're trying to solve, what we're trying to solve for, and what is going to be our motivation for solving those problems, right? So that is what we're trying to do, and tomorrow we're going to brainstorm. And again, we also want to thank Farhan. He was part of our meeting that day, and also Saga is also a co-lead in the project meeting now.
Awesome. And Damien, is he joined? Maybe my screen is not refreshing. It shows 17. Obviously, it's more than that, I guess. Is Damien joined the call, Farhan?
No, he has not joined.
Okay. So, Greg, I think, it's good. You're also going on the right direction from my point of view. Keep it going. And how is your team building activities is ongoing? So your teams are coming along, and if you remember in our last session, we talked about forming, norming, where you are at. Any comments? I'll show you the screen. So we talked about forming, storming, norming, and performing. Where you believe your team is at this point of time?
Funny enough, when you were talking about this, I had internet issues. I had to join back so later, so I kind of missed all this. But if I look at this slide, I think we should be in norming stage now.
Norming stage. That's quite advanced. Good. So I just wanted to ask these questions to make sure that whatever that we discussed in the previous session, you are aligned to that terminologies and you're working towards achieving whatever that you have learned in the previous sessions, right? So that's important for us to be in sync. Let's move on to Sandra. Sandra, any update from you? Hello, Sandra?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, very much.
Yes, well, the last week we started the concept phase and we prepare a survey in order to do a research about the problem that we want to solve. But this week we reach out the two mentors, and they help us a lot. And in the case of Damian, they told us that we need to redefine the problem, because we noticed that we want to solve two problems, and they give us his feedback about that we need to choose one, and we need to define in a more specific way. So in the meeting that we had yesterday with our team members, we agreed that we need to outline the problem and maybe think in other ideas in order to have a backup in the case that the main idea is not the right solution. So that's why I ask you about how the Stopper community do the process of learning path, because we would like to know more about that process and have a backup in case that the main idea doesn't work.
Okay. So there's a couple of answers to your questions, right, Sandra? So when we started this, I'm going to make you a little bit mute because this background noise. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So when we started this particular program called Testoper Projects, we know that we wanted to address a list of individuals who are not exposed to innovation in the entrepreneurship, and we wanted to take them from point A to point B, which is making them to become an innovator and an entrepreneur. So this is the thought process of this whole program, right? The Testoper projects, and we have this 6 to 7 1-hour session every week to help you to get from point A to point B throughout the year. And I'm running the session now, joined by Farhan. So now that's number one, right? And then number two is, Sandra, when we started this, we know that when people come, when I ask some people to start thinking about your own idea and build a product and start your own company, they will be like left out with, I don't know what to do, correct? And so what we did, right, Sandra, we did some research. We looked at a lot of different places. We picked a topic, right? And then we looked at a lot of websites and links, which I can actually show you, which was already there in that presentation, right? So let me check here, research documents. See, we did some research using these two documents. Then what we did was, there was archive, right? Yeah. No, not this one. Apologies. Not this one. Where was it? Project documents. Yeah. Testoper project master planning document. So we did some research, right? What we did was we looked at, where was the, yeah. So you can actually see, right, all these different links. We did a lot of research, and then we came up with an idea called career path and learning path. And we created this workflow and created a base for you to, if you don't have an idea, right, because you are starting this journey newly, and it will be very difficult for you to go and identify the problem and then try to find a solution to that problem. So innovation is all about looking for problems and trying to solve that problem. That is what the innovation is all about. And if you do solve some problems, then you become an entrepreneur. As simple as that, right? So now, if I ask you to go and find a problem and solve the problem, it may be difficult for you to start with. That is why we did all this research, and then we came up with different blocks and different flows. And we told you, Sandra, in case if you're not able to think of a problem that you cannot solve, you can pick one of these blocks and you can start building your product around that. So that's how it all started. And to answer your question, we researched a lot. We looked through all the different websites, and then we came up with this workflow to give you guys something to get started. Now, like I said, you don't have to do this, right? you can think of your own idea that can solve certain problem and you can build your own product. So you're open to do both the things. There's no rules as such. Hopefully it answered your question, Sandra.
Yes, I think that I was not clear because what I mean is in the case of the material, for example, the cloud computing courses or the AI courses, how you build that kind of material? What is the process?
Oh, you mean the not this program? You mean the codathons that we do on Wednesday and Saturday?
Yes, yes, because we want to give a solution that could join the skills of the candidate and try to give us or recommend what is the learning path that they should took that they took should took.
Oh, okay. That's a very difficult question.
Yes,
If
and that is one of the ideas. Is the backup idea, but we have another idea. So we would like to do that research in order to choose one of the solutions.
Yeah, but what I can tell you is that you're researching. That's the great thing, right? Research, research, research is the only way you can get to the problem.
Yes.
You can getting to the problem is not accident, right? Getting to the problem and discovering the problem requires a lot of research and analysis, right? And then once you find the problem, and if you find this is the problem for a lot of people, and if you bring the solution to them, and if that solution is good enough for them to pay you money, then you become an entrepreneur. You build a product, you sell them, and you make money, and you become an entrepreneur. That is what it's all about. So everything starts from identifying the problem. Okay, and all the three teams are trying to do that. That's really a good sign from my point of view.
Kader, if I may.
Yeah.
So I know there was a team that was looking, and I'll go back to the skill link side, which is similar to what Sandra is mentioning here is, do not get disheartened if there is already a product in the market. And again, the thing is, everything can be improved. So if you feel that you want to follow that particular solution and you can better your product compared to the competition, that's absolutely fine. Just don't get disheartened if somebody else already has a solution for it. Unless you want to build an electric car and Tesla is there, but if you can build something better, why not, right? So don't get disheartened, do your research. And the best way is, after your research, discussing it thoroughly. Something that has been argued extensively has better outcomes than something that, people are, okay, if you want to do this, go ahead. There's no pros and cons being discussed, arguments back and forth. I think that is the healthiest way to come up with a solution.
Completely agree. Completely agree. I think we did discuss something around this in our one of the previous session. See, you can come up with an idea in multiple ways, right? The source could be anything. Okay, so let's say, for example, if your team together you decide, it's okay. The first idea, whatever I have, it's okay. It is not going to make me as an entrepreneur, but I wanted to go through with this idea and complete the process of whatever that I need to learn to, from the point A to point B to become an entrepreneur. If your team decides something like that, right, it is still okay, right? You can take that idea, work on that, go through the pass, and then in the next phase, you can build a new idea, and then that can take you closer to the entrepreneurship, and so on and on and on, right? So you can decide something like that, option A. And then option B, you can say together as a team, no, right? We want to research and find something that is really unique. Nobody has done it. And I wanted to build that, and I wanted to become an entrepreneur. and I wanted to start a company together with the people that you have engaged and learning together, right? That's also one way of thinking. The third way of thinking is, like Farhan said, pick something which is already there and find a different way of doing it, and the easiest way of doing it, right? So that will also help you to go through this journey and become an entrepreneur. Remember the example that I gave you. In the olden days, a lot of innovations were happening because of demand and supply. You remember that I was telling you the demand and supply, which was scarcity, meaning, right? People had money, they had roads, but there was no car, and people manufactured car and people went and bought, right? So it's like, not many people were owning the car, and a lot of cars were manufactured, a lot of different types of innovations came in the car, and people went and bought that car, right? So that's how it was before. This is called as a business model or an innovation to address the scarcity market, right? Where the demand is higher than the supply. That's how it was before. Now, if you actually look at it, like I explained the other day, it is the innovation happens on abundance model, meaning you have so many cars and we don't use our car at all, like 80% of our time, right? And how can you use your car when it is sitting idle 80% of the time to make some money? Uber, for example, it came up, the business model of the Uber is totally focused on the abundance, Airbnb, abundance, right? So there's a lot of houses are there, but it's empty. How can I make money out of that, right? If you look at 20 years ago, there was no houses. We were building the houses for the people to come in. Now we have lots of houses and it's empty. How can I make money from that emptiness, right? So these are the different types of business models, right? And it keeps changing. There is not like one fixed thing, right? It keeps changing, and you have to adapt yourself and change yourself, and you have to continuously learn to get there. So that's what it is all about. Okay, good. So I think from the team point of view, we are evolving really good. There's a couple of announcements that I wanted to make. The first one is for the newcomers, there is a WhatsApp chat, and then please send your login and password. To your email address. We will create you an account in the Teams, right? That's the first announcement. And then the second announcement I want to make is, it's in fact an happy news, right? The first thing is I gave you guys access. I gave you guys ibmskillbuild.org, how to register there and how to learn different courses that are provided by them is something that I've already told. For those who are new, you can reach out to, once you are in the Teams, you can reach out to some of the colleagues. They will help you to tell you the procedure, how to register to the ibmskillbuild.org. And then, you can learn all the courses there for free. Okay. So I reached out to them and I've asked them to give me some means so I can track how our people in our community are learning and utilizing that skill build, and I can help them to create some kind of roadmap for them to develop the skills, right, throughout this year during this program. So I've reached out and I have asked them. So they said they are going to look into it and then they'll get back to us. Now, the another good news is that as of yesterday, we got approval from IBM as a affiliate. Right? What does it mean is IBM has two groups, right? The first one is the skill build group, which I already talked to you all about. And then the second group that they have, it's called as a startup group. So they basically encourage entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs and the people who wants to build a company. They basically encourage them, mentor them, and give them resources that are required for them to build their product in the IBM cloud. Okay. Now, we, as of yesterday, became an affiliate to that IBM startup community, which basically means that, once I have you guys develop as an innovator and entrepreneur, I would be able to, get you guys to the IBM startup community and get benefit from there. Right. So this is a remarkable thing that I want. I feel, at least from my point of view, it's a great thing for all of us to continue to learn and become an innovator. And the second thing that I've also asked them is to help us with some kind of a program or maybe some kind of a trainer and the mentor who can come us and help all of us to learn from them in this particular program. So let's see how that goes. There's a lot of good engagements are happening with IBM, and I wanted to really utilize IBM expertise into this particular program, right? Testoper project program, and develop all of our skills, including Farhan's and myself throughout this program. So these are the two quick announcements that I wanted to make. I want to leave a floor for 2 minutes before we get into the second phase of training. I want to leave the floor for 2 minutes for anyone having questions. Please feel free to shoot. No questions, all good? So how many of you have registered to the skillbuild.org and started learning from there? You can raise hands in the Teams. There is something called as like this. See, I'm raising my hand here like this. How many of you have registered? Sandra, great. Sagal, Gautami, Elizabeth, Ashfaq. Okay, so I see many of you have not registered. Probably you do not know how to register, or I don't know. But please see those who have raised their hands, reach out to them and ask them how they did it. And please register and make use of that platform that is available for you to learn for free, rather than going and spending time and money in some other organization. This would be a good source, given the situation that we are going through. This would be a good source of learning. Okay. And then the second thing is, I will get back to you once I have the answers from IBM Startup. What are all the different things that we can collaborate? And the beautiful thing is that in that IBM Startup program, they are allowing us a credit of, I think, monthly $1,000 or $10,000. I need to double check that. And it's a credit, right, for us. They don't give a cash, but they give a IBM Cloud credits, right, in-kind credits for Testoper community. And we will create accounts for all the 3 teams that we have, and we will provide it to you. Now, what you can do with that is, using skillsbuild.org, you learn the skills. Let me take an example. You learn what is artificial intelligence, the basic stuff. Or you can join also Testoper program. So we have a masterclass coming up in artificial intelligence in March 26th or 27th. You can look it up in Eventbrite, right? So you can learn from Testoper programs. You can learn from skillbuild.org, and then you can use these skills and develop something using IBM platform, which provides API for you to build some awesome AI-based algorithms and models and do some awesome stuff. Same thing with IoT, right? So they have multiple platforms that you can get access to and learn those platforms and build your products calling their APIs in that platform. So what happens is, if you look at from end-to-end point of view, what happens is you are able to develop the skills and you're able to build something using their platform. Plus, from Testoper community, you are getting a mentorship from me and Farhan, and more people will come in the process. And through the Testoper programs also, you are able to learn things, and bringing all these things together. And if you have a mindset of continuously learning this throughout this year, by end of this year, you would be able to achieve something really awesome. That's my hope. And I want to really see you guys build something and maybe start a company and become an entrepreneur, right? I really wanted you guys to get there, and fingers crossed. All right, perfect. So now let's jump into the topic of learning, right? So we have 20 minutes. Let's jump into that. Okay, so we have learned a lot of things in our past session. Those who have not joined or missed the previous sessions, in the YouTube, you can always go and look at them. So in our last session, we talked about few things. We talked about teaming, how important it is to build a team, right? And I think it's going really well, and you guys have understood from that point of view. Then we also talked about the concept phase. So most of the time I was talking last in the previous session. Now let's have at least a 10 minutes. Let's have a conversation on this, okay? let's pick, for example, Sandra. Sandra, in your team, right? Have you been able to go through this 10 points? And have you been able to understand the flow on these 10 points when you ask these questions to yourself? If you have understood, good, you can share it with us. If you have not understood or you have any specific questions, you can ask. I'll be happy to explain.
Yes, well, we understand the first questions and we answer them, but we had some doubts about the 4 question and the 9 and 10.
Okay.
In the case of the 9, well, we are not sure what kind of project or solution we want to build, because on one way we want a free solution, but on the other hand we want a paid solution plan. So we are not sure about it.
Okay, let's go through that. So you said fourth one, right? Let's talk about the fourth one. How is this opportunity strategically aligned? So you have a team, Sandra, right? And as a team, you have come up with an idea. Now, first of all, you have to think about within, as a team together, what do you want it to achieve? If you start thinking that in that direction, it becomes the strategy. I'll give you an example. Together in your team, let's say if you decide, it could be anything, and I'm just picking something as an example here, okay? Picking one thing as an example. In your team, if you decide, hey, artificial intelligence is really, a hot topic in the market, and strategically, we as a team have to develop skills in artificial intelligence. Let's say you decided that within your team, okay? So that becomes your strategy. Now you are trying to solve a problem, right? And you're looking for an idea to solve the problem. Let's say you are picking a problem where let's say you're picking a problem where you want people to come and register and learn, as an example. Okay, there is no artificial intelligence in it. So now, does that idea align to the strategy that we wanted to do and become experts in artificial intelligence? Yes or no? The answer is no. Then let's say you pick an idea, and then that idea has lots of data that you can get from, let's say, Canada statistics. And based on that data, you're trying to derive something using artificial intelligence and machine learning to provide some inputs to the user. I'll give you an example. Rather than just giving you an abstract way, I'll give you an example. Let's say, one of your customers, Sandra, decided to become a data scientist. Then what you do is you go to the Statistic Canada website, and there's a lot of data available. You pull that data, and then you research for next 3 years if the data science job is available based on the Statistics Canada, and is it a good job or a good designation that I wanted to prepare my skills for. So you can kind of analyze from the data, and then you can go back to your customer and say, hey, yes, your decision is correct, and please go ahead with your decision. Right? So then if you take that as an example, then the product that you wanted to build is somehow strategically aligned. Now, what is your strategy? Your strategy as a team is to learn artificial intelligence. So this is an example. Okay. So if I have to just summarize this, Sandra, to make you understand, you as a team, first of all, have to think about what is that together you wanted to achieve, and that becomes the strategy, right? Then you can pick up an idea. You can have number of ideas, right? And you can pick up an idea that aligns to that strategy and then move on with it. So this is what I mean by saying, how is this opportunity that you have strategically aligned? But assuming if you don't have any strategy, then this particular fourth line is not applicable. Is it clear, Sandra?
Yes, now it's clear.
Okay. Now let's go to the 8th point, right? Product positioning makes a difference. Your product is unique because. So this point is the most difficult point to achieve, right? So you have an idea, And that idea could be a new idea which no one has done it.
Oh,
Like we
sorry.
discussed. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Was 9 and 10.
Okay, 9 and 10. So you're good at 8, right? Okay, good. So 9.1 is high level planning, resources, financials, etc. So in a traditional world, right, where there is a real startup who has investors and limited money that they have and things like that, right, in a real setup and real environment, you need to do this step 9, right? Do you have enough money to hire employees to do this whole thing, right? You need to think about that. And also, you need to think about, do I have enough money for infrastructure? Do I have enough money for a place where I can sit and work, right? And then these are all from the money point of view, right? Financial point of view. Then you can take another example. Do I have the right resource who already have the right skills to start building the project? But that may not be applicable in our case, because in our case, even though we don't have the skills, we are together as a team building the skills. And Testoper point of view, we are providing you the platform to build the skills, right? But in a traditional environment where you're really starting a company all by yourself, and you have some money, then you have some people, then you have some space, in that situation, right, you got to do some kind of a high level planning. Do I have A, B, C, D, E, all the things that is required for me to build this as a product and build this as a company? That is one side of the story. The another side of the story is, after I build this as a product, after I go to the market, after the customers started buying my product, can I sustain my business, right? So I have 5 resources. I have $100,000, and I can pay 1 year salary to these 5 resources. And in 9th month, I can have the product, and I can launch the product on 10th month. And 11th month and 12th month, customers are starting to come. After 12th month, I don't have any money to pay my employees. So that means in 2 months, will I be able to generate enough revenue from the customers so I can continue to keep the team? This is what is called as a business plan. We will talk about, I'll explain a lot of things around this in the future session. But high level planning is all about that, right? Do you have enough resources to build? Will you have enough resources after going to the market to sustain and continue this product, continue to sell this product, support this product in the market? That is what I mean by saying high level planning. That is, as an example, resources, financials, etc. Does that answer your question, Sandra?
Yes, thank you, Kader.
But in your case, right, you don't have to really worry about. In your case, what you need to right now worry about is, do I have the right team? And what do I need to do to bring additional people into my team? And what do I need to do to encourage my team to go to skillbuild.org and learn what they need to learn? If one of the member wants to become a front-end developer, what I as a leader can help him to learn to develop himself for next to 2 months? When I want someone to become a backend developer or a database developer or a cloud and DevOps or a designer, what do I have to provide him to go, walk the talk, leadership skills? What I have to provide him to go and get those skills for him? That's what you need to worry about, right? Then when we have this IBM platform available, what do I have to do in my team to go in, log in into the IBM platform, learn different APIs, do some demo program, learn from it? So once I know all these different things, when I have an idea, I will have a right team, and I can build the whole thing, and I can create a minimum viable product and go to the next step. What are those? I will train you as things fold in place, right? But hopefully that should be your more concern right now, not the other areas, and which is also important. I will train you as things move forward. And the last one is recommendation, go or no go. So after going through all these 9 points, you all as a team should be convinced, hey, you know what, I think I have a right problem, and I know the right customer who is facing that problem, and my solution, whatever I am planning to provide, I am confident that it will solve that problem, and it is aligned to the strategy I have, if you have a strategy. Otherwise, skip the 4th point. And whatever that I'm going to do is going to really attract the customers and the market and all other stakeholders using my product. And I'm very confident that whatever the product that I have, it is going to benefit the customers and they are willing to pay for it. You know, there are so many products in this world, right, where it is beneficial for the customers, but they don't pay for it. So then what happens is you need to find a way to make money without customers paying for it. There are a number of things that have, number of business cases are there like that, right? So some of them earn money by advertising, right? They bring a lot of people, thousands and thousands and 10,000s of people come and use the platform, but they don't charge their customers, but they charge other enterprises and they provide ads to those thousands and millions of customers and they make money, right? So big companies like Facebook, right? We don't pay any money for Facebook, but how do they make money? We as the customers, we just join in and we use it for free. LinkedIn, we use it for free. Google, that we do search, we use it for free. How do they make money? So the end customers don't pay, but they have another way of making money, right? So you need to start thinking about that and see if whatever that I make, can I make money out of that, either from customers or any other different means? And if you're convinced of that, and if you're convinced that you're better than your competitor, and you're convinced that your product has some uniqueness, right, compared to the competition's product, if you're trying to redo the same thing, and you're convinced you have enough right team members who has skills to learn and come together as a team and build this as a company. So if you're convinced about all these things, that means you have crossed this concept phase. You have an idea and you wanted to take this to the next level. And together as a team, you all decide, go, let's go, right? And then you move on to the next step. And this is the phase right now we are all in. Hopefully that served as a good summary. Perfect. Now let's ask the same question.
Thank you very much.
Sure, Sandra. Let's ask the same question to Finn and Greg. Do you have any questions or any clarifications that you might have on this concept phase?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So going through this concept phase, when we had our meeting 2 weeks ago, we talked about questions 1 to 4, right? To come back to answer the others. Then last week we talked about opportunity statement. With the opportunity statement, a person answering all those questions. I know you answer some questions and not all, but how can we tie our opportunity statement to answering all these questions?
Sorry. What was the last one? You are breaking a little bit.
I said, okay, sorry. I said, how can we use our opportunity statement, our business opportunity statement, to answer all these questions that are here?
How can I use? Okay,
the business opportunity statement. The business opportunity statement.
I actually created, based on that question, I created a document here. There is business sessions, and then there is a tool here, and then I created something called as an opportunity statement, right? Just as a template, simple test template. Whatever is there in that presentation is what you would see here, actually. Okay. So are you talking about this template?
No, I didn't use this template. I was doing some research and I saw another template, an IBM template. I didn't know you have this one here.
No, you can. No, this one again. I gave this as a example. You can research in other places. You can add additional questions, and you can create this template, and you can answer them.
Okay.
Yeah, you can answer them, and if once your whole team is convinced about it, you can go to the next step.
Okay. That'll be our agenda for tomorrow. Okay.
So Greg, if I may answer your question, you see, when you create your opportunity statement, it's more like a very high level statement, but the questions, the 1 to 4, those ones need to be addressed as well. And it's very easy. Once you have the opportunity statements, then it makes it very easy to answer those 4 questions. If you don't have the opportunity statements, it's a little bit difficult because then the opportunity exists in your mind and you're trying to put it on paper and then you have to go through this. So having the opportunity statement is an advantage to have to go and answer to these questions, and they will align to that opportunity statement automatically. I hope that answers your question. If not, we can clarify. And
Okay.
very good questions, Greg.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect, perfect. Let's move on to Finn. Let's give him a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so we were still discussing the questions. We're still at number 1 and 2, trying to describe the problem. Actually, the problem that SkillLink was going to solve. But during the process of discussing the questions, that was when we decided to put it on hold for a little bit and come up with maybe find a problem that each and every one of us is facing and build a product around that. So we haven't really gone through all the questions in the concept phase for SkillLink, because this whole week, each and every one of us is kind of brainstorming in our own way, and tomorrow we're going to discuss maybe we have a new product or not. So
Perfect, perfect. Again, remember, Finn, like I said, right? In the first round, you don't have to really build a product that's going to make you millionaire, right? You can always start with the product and start with an idea, go through this complete phase, and learn the whole thing, and then in the next next circle or next round of this session, you can come up with an idea to really build a product and make a business out of it, right? You can also take one step at a time, but it again depends on your own interest and the team interest. If the team together says, hey, let's build a product and start a company, nothing like it, right? I'm here and Farhan is here. We will give you all the tools that are required to start from where you are now to become an entrepreneur and go to the incubators, accelerators, help you to learn how to create a pitch deck, help you to learn how to go and pitch in front of investors. So we'll go through this whole thing in this process. No worries. Okay.
thank you.
Perfect. All right, 5 more minutes we have. Let's learn. I think we learned something today about this 10 points. What I did was I also created, like I mentioned, document here, opportunity statement. Again, this is not a Bible that you need to follow. Okay. So what I believe as an individual is have an open discussion and have an open mindset of adapting and acting, right? Acting and adapting, learning, acting and adapting, right? So we need to continuously learn, act and adapt. This is very, very important skill that we need to have as a leader. Okay. So please consider this opportunity statement as some foundational template, like the ideas that I gave you guys to build product. That's a foundational ideas. Consider this as a foundational template. Now you can take this template. You can also research how the other people are, creating opportunity statements, and you can mix and match, create your own opportunity statement template for your project. Because the same shirt doesn't fit all, right? You have to have a mindset not to just follow what others are doing, but rather suits you the best for your team and your business idea, and document it. What is important here is there should be a document that explains the opportunity that you're going to pursue moving forward, and document it. That's the most important thing. Okay. All right, so we learned that, and I wanted to, we have 3 minutes, and I wanted to give a tip of the day as usual. Every session I give a tips, and I have a tip for you guys today. So most of the people like you and me, right? Even I'll tell you personally as well. There was a stage that I went through where, I think maybe this is not my cup of tea, right? I can't do this. Many times I'm pretty sure a lot of people have gone through this stage or even going through the stage, right? and have less confidence about can I really do this? Maybe it's not made for me. And there are other people who have greater skills than me, and they are the Superman, and they only can do and I cannot do. I'm pretty sure some of you might have been thinking like this. And if it is, don't be shy, because I was one of them. If it is, I wanted you to show your hands, please. Raise your hands. Exactly. See, feel free, guys, others, if you have ever felt it that way, right? Because even I have felt it, even today I feel it. Maybe I'm not good enough, right? There are many people who can do the job better than us. But then what I wanted to really share as a tip of the day today to you all is, if you actually look at an individual, right, as a person, the personal triads, or you can knowledge, right, you can kind of divide that into two buckets. Some people, they are born with some kind of a knowledge, right, or some kind of a skill, and that's normally called as innate skill, right? That's in you, right, when you're born. I'll give you an example. Some person always thinks about things always about negative things, right? Or someone is always thinks about good. There are, we as an individuals, when we are born, because of the DNAs or whatever, some innate skills always we come with, okay? But what is most important thing is the acquired skills. That's what is going to make you different and make you stand out of the crowd. The acquired skill is the most important thing than the innate skill. And the only way that you can acquire the skill is through the continuous learning. And most of the research today has really resulted in an answer that acquired skill is the one which makes every person who is successful in the career today, right, whichever field they are in, the acquired skill is the one which plays 80% of the role, in some cases 100% of the role for that person, to whatever he is today. So remember this. If you have this feeling of maybe the low confidence or anything like that, please throw that away. If you are able to create a mindset of continuous learning and you are willing to acquire the skills, then you can actually become successful, right? Again, when I say successful, don't think success means making money, right? It's not the only thing that determines that you're successful. There are multiple other factors based on your unique thing that you wanted to become determines the success and failure. Again, success and failures, I always say it is relative, right? Don't believe in success or failure. You have a target, always have a target that you wanted to achieve, and work consistently towards that target, and you will get there. And if that is what is the success from your point of view, so be it. Okay, but always have the target and continuously and consistently work towards achieving the target. Then you will be successful. So long story short, what I wanted to give you tip of the day is, if you have, if you ever felt that, what I cannot do, right? It is not true. You can do it. You can save the world. And you can acquire the skill that is required to be a leader. You can acquire the skill required to be an innovator. You can acquire the skills required to be an entrepreneur. You can acquire the skills required to become successful, to meet your targets, whatever the target is. Remember this point, and this is the tip of the day for me, from me. And don't ever think, someone else is greater than me. You are always, if you are consistent and continuously learning, you can become better than that person. All right. Okay. So now what I wanted to, before opening the floor, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a small exercise. for our next session, right? And I wanted you to go through this particular slide, leadership. You remember I gave you so far 2 tips about leadership, if I'm not wrong, okay? The first tip about the leadership that I gave you was stay calm even when your hair is on fire. Remember, we had a great discussions around this. And the second tip that I gave you was, of course, all our tips only, but more specific tips that I gave you today is leadership is an acquired skill. Don't ever underestimate yourself. You can acquire the skills that is required to be the best in the market, and one among the best in the market and maybe better than them. It is possible for you as long as you are able to consistently committed to working towards the target that you set yourself. Now, as an exercise, what I wanted you to do is go through this slide. And it has 3 things: values, behavior and mindset, and actions. Values means you as a leadership, what all values that you should adopt. And I gave some examples. Again, it's not inclusive, right? These are some examples. What are all the different things that you should be having as a value, as a person, right, to become a leader? What kind of behaviors and mindset that you need to create to become a leader? You need to train yourself to become a leader, and what actions that you need to do to become a leader. I gave you some examples and some bulleted points, and the exercise for you is go through this, and we will be discussing about each of these points, Q&A between you and all of us, explaining each other what each of these points means and learning from each other in our next session. Now, why I am doing this? I am doing this because every one of us in this program, Testoper projects, must create a leadership skill to be successful, right? And to become an innovator and to become an entrepreneur. Just learning the coding, doing something does not make you an innovator and entrepreneur. There is multiple things that you need to learn together as a team to get you there. And that's what we're going to do this together as a team. I will stop here and open the floor for any questions or comments from anyone, please.
So if I may add to what you've just said, Kader, I mean, give you some real life perspectives. In Canada, apart, most of us are new immigrants here. Back home, an individual would have a career for the rest of his life. Here in Canada, statistics show that people change careers multiple times a year, more than twice, because there's opportunity, right? So if you feel like, Soba, she said she hasn't been in the market for 5 years. Don't stress yourself about it. There is opportunities now. And as Kader mentioned, focus on your goal. So I'll give you an example. If I want to have a 6-pack abs, right? I can achieve that in a very short time. So if I work on it 3-4 hours a day, I will achieve it in a short time. But if I do 20 sit-ups a day, it'll take a much longer time. I may get there, but it will take a much longer time. So the commitment required to achieve your goal has to be there, right? So it is totally up to you. And the other thing with regard to the leadership, the values and the characteristics that Kader talked about, we as technical people are introverts generally. We don't have those flares, the skills, I mean, you're seeing Kader and myself talking confidently and comfortably. It didn't happen overnight. It took time. I remember, and I'll give you an example. For me, when I'm hiring people, especially when I'm hiring consultants, technical people, I can tell who are going to be comfortable in front of, C-level people, and who will be comfortable only in front of a computer and they don't want anyone else to talk to them. And both individuals can be successful. Remember that there's some technical people that just want to talk to the computer, do their thing, and they're really good at it, and then let their managers or program manager talk to the people above. And then the others, with time, building that leadership skill, and leadership skill has a lot to do with communications. And one of the things that I used to tell people under my employment, under me, to join organizations like Toastmasters, for example. If you feel that you don't have that speaking capability, Toastmasters is a great way to improve your speaking capabilities. And this, remember, leadership is a journey. You will not get there overnight. You build your technical knowledge, you build your communication knowledge, you build your organizational knowledge. There's a lot involved. So one of the things is, if you are not a confident public speaker, look at organizations like Toastmasters. This will really help you open up. I remember, and again, for most of us, English is a second language. I remember I had somebody who was from Iran, really good technically, but had a difficult time explaining himself. He had, you can see in his concept, he knew what he was thinking and what he wanted to say, but the words were not coming out right. He joined Toastmasters, and I met him after 2 years, and he says, Farhan, that was the best thing you've ever told me to do. And he was actually the chairman of the Toastmasters at that time. So he had a leadership role, and it made a big difference, right? So remember, if you feel that you're not confident in talking, join such organizations as well. Leadership is a journey, and we all, Kader and I have the same vision of seeing you all be successful. And we are here as tools and resources to help you, guide you to be successful, right? And a lot of organizations charge people for such services. You're lucky to have this for free, and take advantage of this, and reach out to us. We're here to help you as well. So with that said, I'll leave the floor open. Kader.
Thank you, Farhan. Any questions from anyone? Shobha has raised her hand. Ashfaq has raised his hand. Any questions?
Or maybe these were from before, but
maybe that's possible. All right, so team, wonderful, and it was another beautiful 1 hour session that we spent together, and I hope we learned something together. Please take the action that I talked to you about. Let's look through those points, the last slide, look through them, and try to understand before coming to the next session what that each point means. And what most of them are obvious, right? But sometimes it's very difficult to do obvious things. Right? That's the reality. But look through that and keep that as some kind of checklist in your, in front of your computer or whatever. Always look at that. Hey, am I doing this? Yeah, good. So I'm a leader. Am I doing this? Yeah, good. I'm a leader. If not, so what do I have to do that? Right? And it's like Farhan mentioned, it's a journey. And you talk about confidence and all those different things. Even today, if I have to be very honest with you all, sometimes even today I'm not confident in many places, in many circumstances. I'm also continuously learning, and I don't think I'm going to stop this continuous learning for many years to come. Or in other words, as long as I'm in the market, I'm going to continue to learn, I guess. So it's a journey, and I'm sure that you have started it right, and you will get there one step at a time. The last message I want to give you guys is, please make sure that you utilize the skill build, learn technical stuff while you are learning the leadership and all the entrepreneurship and the product management life cycle from us. In parallel, make sure that you learn the technical skills, make use of the skill build, and we will come back to you with certain login information, how to use IBM Cloud Platform to learn some IoT technologies or AI technologies that are provided by IBM. We'll do all that one step at a time. So having said that, I will say goodbye to everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and reach out to us whenever you need help, and I'll see you all next week, Friday.
Yeah, Ashfaq has got his hand up. Do you have a question, Ashfaq? I just want to make sure we address it, or It's one of those.
No, Farhan, that was from before.
Okay. Hey, that's good one. Sandra, Fane, and Greg.
Greg.
Shobha has newly joined today, so try to see which team she's interested in and get her into your team, respective teams. All the best.
Oh, I was about to ask that.
Sorry.
I was about to ask that how to join the team. So how to whom I should reach out. So I was about to ask that question.
Yeah, so we have like the first thing is we will get you added into that Microsoft Teams, right? Join that WhatsApp channel and provide your email address and first name and last name. And then what you can do is you can talk to the leads. Right now we have 3 leads, Fian, the one that I'm sharing here, Fian, and then Greg and Sandra, right? So you
Okay.
can talk to all the 3 leaders and then you can decide which team you wanted to join and start this journey with them.
Yeah, what I would suggest, Soba, is if you can put your interests and what you want to achieve on the WhatsApp project WhatsApp chat, so that the leaders can see, and then accordingly also they can align your needs
Skills.
to to what team they want.
Yeah, sure, Farhan. I'll do that.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you,
This was
guys.
great.
Go
Thanks a
ahead.
lot, Kader and Farhan. It was a great opportunity for me, and I think I will learn a lot from this platform.
Yeah, and just wanted to let you guys know, hey, we are tracking your attendance, okay? And you will be getting also from Testoper, community point of view, some kind of a return letter, right? Saying that you are part of this project and you have been working on this and you have been learning, right? It's called as experimental learning, right? Experiential learning. You have been learning this, and you're part of this project. You will get some kind of, a letter or a certificate from us, right? Which will also be very helpful for you. I'm not sure how much it will be useful to show it as a Canadian experience, but you can, if you whatever that you learn from me and Farhan, if you are able to articulate that well together with that certificate, I'm pretty sure it's also going to help you with in many ways.
Yes, and remember also, some of us here don't have jobs. We are looking. Kader is here. I'm here. We have other people in the organization that can help open doors for you. If you're applying at, I'll give you an example at SoftChoice or CompuCom, where I have worked before. If you're applying there and you see, linked on LinkedIn that I have worked there before, reach out to me and say, can you connect me to somebody within your organization, within SoftChoice or CompuCom, that can look at my resume, rather than it going through that, the machine of the recruiters, which may not even see your resume, right? So take advantage of that as well.
Yes, good point. Good point. And once you are in the Microsoft Teams, we have a channel called Testoper Jobs. You can also utilize that. And the people who have jobs, they can look at their company's website. If there is a recruitment, you can always post that link here. And the person who is looking for the job can actually reach out to that person to ask for reference. So this is how in the community we all have to help each other to get the job as well, right? This channel has not been active. We have been pushing our community team to really, become very active and help each other. Obviously, when you start, there is always, you got to pass through one step at a time. There's always a hurdle, but I'm sure that if we continue to help, go on this direction, eventually this jobs channel will become very successful and very useful for all of us.
Yeah, and before you post anything, get permission from the HR. At least they know that you are spreading the word, not just on LinkedIn. You have other resources, and they will be keen, because at the end of the day, they are not paying for it, and they're get a wider audience. So position it that way, and all of you who are here, see what job requirements out there in your organizations, especially in IT. Talk to HR and help us post them here as well.
Thank you, guys. Let's close the call. This is the only session always we go beyond the scheduled time. Apologies again. So we'll make sure next time me and Farhan will plan it really well to have a hard stop by 7. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in our next session.
Sounds good.
Take care.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys. Yep.
See you.
Bye.
Good evening. See
Good
you.
evening.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.
Thanks a lot. Good evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Farhan.
Thanks everybody, Kader, Farhan.
Hey, Partha.